explore open-form conversations. We are your host. I'm Greg.
And I am Josh.
Today it is July 22nd at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And today we're going to be exploring and research actually what happened throughout our whole week. And we're just going to talk about that today. So stay with us. All right, Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm hanging in there, my friend. I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing hanging in there as well too. the cat, inspirational board, where it's hanging from a branch.
Mm-hmm.
That is my spirit animal right now.
Oh, good God, yeah. There's a picture we have in one of the monitors. It's an elephant with its head just buried in the sand as waves are washing over top of it. That's me, and it's a little tiny baby elephant. I'm just like head in the sand. I'm totaled.
Oh my God!
I need to send you this picture because it's like it really does define like how the week goes most of the time. Let me see if I can find it.
I just saw something on Twitter. It's just like the older you get, it's just like I'll get it together today, and today becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes a whole lifetime. I was just like, that guy seems about right because sometimes you wake up every morning and it's just like, dude, I got it down today, and then you're like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it feels because
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does get to a point sometimes where you at the end of the week you look back and you're like, what did I even do this week? Like, something like I went to work, I guess I got up every morning. That's one thing, but eventually it starts becoming into you're looking back and you're hoping that maybe this week. Maybe the next week might be better, but each week how it goes depends on how you get up on Sunday morning and attack it. So I have no idea. Definitely. I have no idea where I was going with that, by the way.
Oh no worries. Yeah, let's talk about like morning routines, and just like mindsets, since we're here already,
Yeah.
I see you sent me. Oh man, dude, that is kind of adorable.
Yeah.
With that elephant, head in the sand, as the waves are crashing over.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that line from Katy Perry's, infamous song, Firework.
Yeah.
If we had the rights, we would play it, but I guess we'll pass on that one.
Yeah, we'll pass on that one.
But like how you feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again, right? And it does seem like that, but like what was it? Yesterday, wasn't it the anniversary of Rob Williams' death? Something like that? Did that come across your social media?
I don't think it did. Who was the guy?
Rob Williams. Dude, do you not know who Rob Williams is?
Hang on. Let's see. I'm not coming up with. Maybe it's someone different. I don't know. That name doesn't sound familiar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, hold up.
Wait,
Robin
is he a
Williams,
director?
Man. Robin Williams, the American actor.
Wait, Robin?
Robin.
Oh, Robin Williams. Okay, I thought you were saying.
Robin.
I don't know. I don't know him by Rob Williams. So, Robin Williams. Ah, yes. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
When I've heard, I remember where I was when I heard about it. And I didn't take it very well. My dad was kind of surprised because he didn't think I knew what a lot of his movies were, but I'm a big fan of him growing up. That guy is so different, and I don't know if there's going to be anyone like him again, taking over the stage just like he did.
I think it was just a genuinely good person, you know, big and loving heart.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, you just can't. Well, like all of us, we just couldn't get enough of him, And I think that's something, but like he has like in a lot of these movies that he plays, like Dead Poets Society, Good Will Hunting, he plays like a lot of these characters, that deal with the balance of like happiness, but also like the dark side of happiness as well too, and his depression. You know, he kind of plays that middleman actually quite a bit if you think about it.
Yeah, he does, and he does a really good job about it because what over the past few months I've done a lot of research on depression and how people deal with that, how people cope with that, what are some ways people deal with it, and the majority of what I found is that people who are in that zone of depression um, put forth a bigger heart than they might realize because they are searching for their purpose. Some might say searching for their purpose. Some might say that they're reflecting what's going on inside out into a positive note, as if a joyful cry for help. And that's where you have to be careful with, as like with your friends. You know, if you're really, if you see something that's off about it, you know, it's probably a good point to check in on. And man, he was, I don't know what he was feeling on the inside, but man alive, did he make a lot of people feel happy watching his movies, listening to his comedy. That dude is freaking hilarious.
And then also very inspirational as well too. We can't forget that as well.
Yeah.
You know, like I think, you know, like for me, like I grew up and like the first time I heard like Robin Williams was in that movie Aladdin.
Yeah.
You know,
man,
like yeah, and it's just like, you know, like the happiness, but also like, you know, the sadness, you know, the coming out of it. And you kind of look up to him, like the more movies that you watch, he's like kind of like this father figure. You know, or just like, you know, some sort of mentor at least, you know, where it's just like he weighs the good and the bad, you know, and it's just like ultimately like the choice is ours, you know. And you know, like I really like the film, you know, Good Will Hunting with him and Matt Damon. You know, him calling Matt Damon on his shit. He's like, dude, you're so smart, why don't you actually go out and do something that you actually like, you know, and go out and do the things you love instead of just coasting by. It's just like, yeah, I know you like all your buddies here, but they also want to cheer you on as well too.
Yeah.
They actually want you to do very well, and then like at the end of the movie, right? Spoilers if you guys haven't seen Good Will Hunting. You know, please zoo or just like go la 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 for the next, you know, 30 seconds just in case. But, you know, Ben Affleck shows up at his house and he's not there, you know? And you just see him on the road, you know? And I think, you know, that kind of like that is like a very good like mentor figure, you know, because he was always pushing like all these different characters, whether it was in Aladdin, you know, pushing whatever the prince is, you know, to actually like find like real love, but like not like using the wishes to like impress this princess.
Yeah.
You know, or it's just like in the Dead Poet Society, you know, or Jumanji, you know, just guiding these kids, you know. It's just like, hey, it's just like you gotta follow through, and I really enjoy that about his character.
Yeah, he was, I believe, I'm gonna say this again and again, I believe firmly he was a once in maybe 4 generation type person, just because it didn't matter what role he was playing on the scene. He was the same guy out inside and out. People loved him. He was someone who would reach your hand out, like a mentor, like you were saying. And it's so cool to see a person like that take all those roles that he did, because he really had such a grasp on, I think a lot of people, when they look back on the movies that they watched when they were a kid, they'll look back at a lot of Robin Williams movies. He was
definitely
really a funny guy, someone who drew people to his movies, someone who did a lot of great movies, a lot of movies that people will remember for the rest of their life. And it's just so cool to see that. We rarely see that nowadays. And it's such a blessing to just be able to have these movies as like remembrance of what this guy did for not only the entertainment film, but humanity in general throughout his life and throughout his career, and ultimately up into his death. Oh yeah,
absolutely. You know, let's end it with a Rob Williams quote, and let's keep moving forward. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Yeah, all right. You know, let's see what the good Google has. You know, All right, Rob Williams quote. All right, do you got one?
Let's see. Da, 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 da. Hmm. There's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good ones, but I got one picked out. Do you got yours?
Yeah, I got one.
All right.
You go.
Oh,
You go ahead for it.
all right, all right. Okay. So I'll end it from this on my end. It's just like no matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change the world.
Ooh, that's deep. That's good. That's good, but it's short but deep. Um,
Yes.
Mine is never say goodbye because saying goodbye means going away, and going away means forgetting.
Ooh, very good.
I like that. I don't like to say goodbye to people. I'm like, hey man, see you later. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Never say goodbye. I think I've said
Yeah.
goodbye maybe twice.
I've never heard you say goodbye to me like when I've ever left,
Yeah.
even when we were leaving together, or even like when we log off for this podcast.
Yeah. I don't.
I don't think I've ever heard you even utter those words.
I don't like.
I don't think that's in your vocabulary from my
It
end.
really is. It really is not in my vocabulary to say goodbye. It's just because I don't know. It's almost like a feeling of sadness. Like for me, because when I was growing up and I said it, and I said it to like a friend of mine, the how I could describe it is it's almost like a dagger being thrust through the chest. Like that's what it felt like, and I didn't want to feel that way because it made me sad. So I stopped saying it, and it made me happier when I was, you know, saying hey, so have a good one, see you later, talk to you later. It's happier when you're not saying goodbye. But that's the cool thing is that each people have their little unique little things like you just said. I had never done that. When I was in college, I took an English class, and we were writing on how people react to different things, how people react to different scenarios. And so I went to the baker that I was working at, and I sat down for probably about 6 hours just writing up my essay, and I just watched people walk through the bakery. I experienced, let's see, the baker experience, the coffee machine broke down. We had to get that fixed. The ice machine stopped working. We had to improvise on that. There was a few misdone recipes and items. And I saw that the people who were walking through there just looking around and having a good time tended took the things as, oh, no worries, take your time. It's okay. We're no big rush. But the people who came in and knew exactly what they wanted and said it in a very, very strict way with, like, they were in some sort of set of time, those people reacted poorly to, well, I wouldn't say poorly. Those people reacted differently to those bad scenarios. And it's odd that you look at that and even when I did, I also noticed that some people were more lenient towards letting things go, and other people took their time as if they were trying to think about whether they were going to make a scene or they were just going to let it go. And it's really interesting if you watch, even if your job, like when your job and you're watching people work, it's interesting to see that aspect where each person's pattern is differently, and you can sometimes learn about it, but other times it's one of those things where you look at and you get your lesson and then you move on. But it's also note the different that speech patterns tend to have an aspect in people watching and seeing how they react to different words being said.
Oh yeah, I love it.
It's really because you can use that as part of your, like, say you're directing something or you're managing something. You're like looking around at a crowd in the room. It's like being, I don't know, whenever I'm doing it, I feel like I'm on a TV show for some reason. Like you're analyzing somebody's head, like, and all these figures and numbers and like algebraic formulas pop out. That doesn't make any sense, but it's supposed to be there.
Okay, Neo.
I'm analyzing your brain. Wait for it and insert memory stick. But it's just kind of fun to watch people like that, and it's fun to see the impact. But
Oh yeah, definitely. I I had one of these experiences not too long ago, actually. So I was actually hanging out with a friend of mine, Kayla, and we were over at a local city park, and we were just like sitting on the bench, just hanging out, with the dogs and all of that, and we were just people watching. Because it's just like, after a certain point of the conversation, it's just like, all right, let's see like what's going on around us, and like let's commentate, what's actually going to happen. And so here we are, like it's a nice, beautiful summer day, you have a pool, you have a playground, and you have like picnics going on. So it's just like we're in like the prime like bench spot,
Right.
like under some shaded trees, and it's around nighttime, so it's pretty cool. So over here in Washington, I don't know if any of you guys are tuning in, but like the last couple of weeks over here have actually been extremely hot. It's been like
Yeah.
over 100 degrees and all of that, but this was like one of those cool, summer nights. So everybody's out, we're all engaging and talking, and here we are sitting on this park bench. So we look over to our right side and we see a first date. And it's just like, oh man. And it's like an older couple as well too, And it definitely looks like this, like both of these older couple, it's a what I assume to be a man and a woman. You can't know, nowadays with 2021. But like it was definitely old school because, the man had brought like a bouquet of roses, and the woman, it's like she has never received like a bouquet of roses, and like it was just like, oh my god, it's just like, is this love? And you could tell like it was definitely like awkward first date like genders as well too, where it's just like, oh man, let's see where this is going to go, like, and they just sat on the bench, just like two casual adults, you know. And just talking about, whatever happened through their day and throughout their week. But here, this is where it gets really interesting. Over here on the left side of the park, we got like some young teenage love going on here.
Oh boy.
So we have two skater boys, shirtless, right? Because that's how all skater boys are.
Oh God.
And I was like, and there's like, a couple like, like teenage girls, just hanging out at the swing set. I'm like, I go over to Kayla, I'm like, yo, watch this. I bet those two skater boys are going to hit on those girls.
Oh jeez.
And like, I called it play by play. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, they're going to be too cool to go up and talk to them. So it's just like, they're going to cause a big scene in the middle of the park and then walk away. And then that's going to get their curiosity. And then one of them's going to go up and talk to them, and try to get their number. I'm like, kid you not. So it's just like, here we are watching, for the next 5 minutes. And sure enough, the boys walk by the girls. The girls are definitely checking them out, right? And all of a sudden, these guys break out in the middle of the fight in the field for no reason. It's just like, pop, pop, pop. And then all of a sudden, like 10 seconds later, they were cool and then walking away.
What?
But yeah, crazy, right? And then they go and they had sat just far enough where it's just like, the teenage girls could see them, but they can see them. And then like they're playing their strategic move. I'm like, dude, they're making this way too hard on themselves.
Yeah, they are. Oh God.
I was like, oh my god, it just sounds like that Avril Lavigne song, and these girls have never heard it, so they don't know what to do in these situations.
They're so predictable because we've all been there.
Yes, exactly.
And you're looking at them and go, don't do that. No.
Don't do it.
No, don't
There's
do
an
that.
Avril Lavigne song where it's just like, he was a skater boy. See you later, boy.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's just...
like, apparently these girls have not heard that song,
No.
and like then they go up and then talk to, and it's just like, oh, they gave the phone number. It's just like, dude, if they would have just listened to that Avril Lavigne song, they would be out of it. But
Yeah, it's so cringy because we've all been there, done the moves, and we know it doesn't work. And
It doesn't work.
And then we watch them do that. They're like, no, don't do that. No, oh, there he goes. He did it. Oh no. It's funny to watch it because you're watching people take on like this new aspect of life, right? Where you
oh yeah, definitely.
see something that you like and you want to go for it, and you watch it, and even though it's cringeworthy, it's kind of awesome to see that kind of happen, because you're like, these guys, these people are growing up,
Oh,
and
definitely.
they're feeling things that they've never felt before, and they still have to deal with it. And a lot of times, it's just kind of fun to just say, you know what? I'm gonna let you figure this one out. Put up the bowl of popcorn and just sit back and watch the show begin, because we all know how it ends, but it's still fun to watch.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I was like talking to Kayla as well too. I'm like, they're only going text for like 3 or 4 days. One of them's going to get their heart broken, and then they're going to discover that Avril Lavigne song, and then you know what? They're going to be okay.
You're gonna be okay. They'll make it. They'll be
They'll make it.
fine.
They'll be fine. Exactly. Like once she hears the line, "He was a skater boy." I said, "See you later, boy." That's when she's like, you know what? I knew I was too good for him. You know.
Jeez.
So it
What?
was just like one of those funny people watching moments.
It's it. I have to people watch at my job, and it's weird to see the how people react to certain things, because I've realized a few things about people dealing with them, and for about like 2 years, is that when people when people go to a new area that they've never been to before, it's interesting to see that signs or writings directing foot traffic to places suddenly disappear or become ineligible to read. Because what I've seen is that whenever somebody is new in the area, it doesn't matter how big the sign is, or how clear the sign is, or how many pictures. It seems like they can never see them nor read them, because they just ignore everything directing them to the right exits and everything. It's amazing to see how ineligible people become when they have no clue what they're doing.
Oh my god.
Because in the parking garage, you have like the employee areas where people go to, where employees go, and then you have the public areas where the public goes. And for some reason, like a year and a half ago or whatever, the engineers at our site were instructed to place large signs directing the public to a specifically colored walkway that would lead them out of the garage. Now, these signs are about average height, about average face height, so anybody from about 5'3" and above can see these at about face level or a little bit below. And they're quite large. They're about the same size as traffic signs. And it reads, "This is an employee area. To behind you is the pathway. Take that to the public exits." I was doing a walk around, and I stumbled upon a family at the employee entrance pulling on the door. So I asked them, I was like, can I assist you in some way? And they're like, "Oh, we're trying to get out of the parking garage." I was like, "Well, ma'am, if you read the sign that's on the door, you'll read that that's an employee entrance. The walkway is actually behind you. It's over about 100 feet away. The exit's not far." I kid you not, these were the next words out of the woman's mouth. "Oh, what sign?"
Oh my gosh.
And I said, "The one right on the door." And she looks right at the door and she goes, "I don't see anything." And it's right there. And I go, "Okay, ma'am, all right, you can ignore the sign now. I'm just going to point you, there's what you want to go. Oh, can we exit up on the ramp?" Now, on the ramp, each lane of the ramp has a large sign that says, "Not a walkway, use the public exits off to your left." And I look at her, I'm like, "Well, the sign on the lane says..." And it goes about as long as you can. It was back and forth until I pointed the exits where it was. But I walked away feeling way dumber than before I had approached them. Like, my head started to spin. Is how
no.
confused my head was. I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see or hear that ever again.
Like, oh my gosh.
And And it happens all the time. It's now entertainment for us. We actually like it. Well, we don't like it when it happens, but when it happens, we just sit back. We're like, you'll figure it out. You got this. And if you're really stuck, we'll come and help you. But yeah, you got this.
Oh my gosh.
It's, people are people, and you deal with them or not. I know. Do you work in retail now?
I do still interact with quite a bit of people, like whether it's like working in retail, whether it's working with clients or interviewing people or just going out and taking photographs,
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about all of it is everybody has their own like little secret language, and then we all speak one universal language together, to exchange thoughts and ideas.
Yeah. Interesting. It's something that we should do for content. I just got this idea. Is we should do a photo shoot. Pick a town, meet up, and do a photo shoot and vlog the whole thing, and release that for content as like part of exclusive
absolutely thing. That would be fun.
I don't know why I just thought of that, but that idea just popped in my head.
I think it's good as well too, and we are as we like right now I'm working on the COVID-19 documentary that we shot back like when it all first kind of began. And it's kind of,
how long ago was that?
That was a year ago, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's 2021. Around this time, I just moved out of the house, and then you were just getting prepared to move out of the house.
Well, yeah, no. Did I tell you about how all that happened?
What?
The move out? Did I tell you?
I didn't understand like the move out, but I remember I called you. I was like, "Hey, I'm in Seattle. Like, do you want to hang out?" It's like, "I'm moving out today." I'm like, "Well, do you need help?" And you're like, "Yeah, I do." So I'm like, "All right."
All right. So it's like the middle of July, and I'm like, "All right, like I probably should start, thinking about, if I want to move out of the house? Do I want to stay here and continue commuting by bus? I really like this kind of thing. I like being out in this area." And I think it was like July, the last day of July or like August 1st, whatever. I texted our landlord, and I said, "Hey, I want to renew my lease for another 6 months." And he goes, "Oh, I already leased out the house back in May."
Huh.
I said, "Wait, what do you mean?" And he goes, "Oh, a new group's coming at the end of the house. I don't have space for you guys." I said, "And you were planning on telling this when?" And he goes, "Well, I hadn't really gotten around to it." I said, "Okay, so let me get this straight. You were not going to tell your tenants that you already had leased out the house, and you didn't even give them a chance to want to renew the lease because you gave them no heads up." So I think it was like, I scrambled for like 2 weeks. I had to scramble. I think it was like 2 weeks I found the apartment, but I had so little time to prepare because I was thrown off by that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell, dude?" And I was like, "That's not cool. That is not how you treat your tenants." So there's no chance I'm going to be renting from him again. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And then also as well too, with that one, there was a couple crazy situations that had happened in that house as well too.
Yeah.
Or it's just like.
It was good that I moved out.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, definitely.
I would have wanted to, but I'm not going to say his name, but you and I both know who I'm talking about. He was still
definitely
there.
What?
Yeah, but I even after I moved out, he was still there.
Oh my gosh.
I thought he was supposed to be out in like May, but yeah, I was not happy that he was still there and that nothing had been done about that. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Oh man, there's a lot of good memories with that place, but there's also some like really strange ones that if people had experienced them like we did, they'd also be sitting there going like, "Why did that even happen?"
It's not even how did it happen. It's just like, oh shit. Like it's like not a normal situation.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you could bring it up over a cup of coffee.
No.
Or it'd be like, okay, here's the tea. You know, it's just like, you want to hear something extremely fucked up?
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's the word for it. Fucked up. It was so bad. It was just ah.
yeah, I don't think. Can we talk about that on here? Which one should we talk about? The one where
okay,
he's
you know
like
what,
just storming around the house like with a knife, or what?
No. Okay, I think we should talk about the shed one because that
The shed one.
The shed. Well, that one doesn't have any legal complications.
Well, yeah, it kind of does. We broke the law on that one too.
No. I meant, what I'm about to tell you is that guy we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's actually something legal going on. That's with legal withholdings right now. So I don't know if we should talk about it in
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't think we can, even though we're not implicated in the legal stuff that's happening, we still can't talk about it until I think Washington State has 7 years or something like that after it's been settled. So publicly, I guess, but
I guess we can't say that's story for now.
Yeah, we can say the story for now, but the shed one we can talk about because there's nothing legal going on with that, like as far as in like cases or suits or depositions or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
So let's see, where should we begin on this one?
All right, so let's give everybody some context.
Yes.
All right, I'll start off the story and then I'll send it to you.
Okay.
All right, so this is what's up. So here we are. There's 7 of us living in this house, right?
Mm.
And all of a sudden, the COVID pandemic hit, the COVID-19, the coronavirus, and we're all like locked in. So we're like, oh shit. It's just like, I don't know any of you guys. So we all became super paranoid because it's just like, you know, we all had different jobs, right? But you also had like, you know, kind of like that skepticism where it's just like, are you really going to your job or you're really here to party?
Yeah.
Because also as well too, like the age range at this house at the time was like young as 21, but old as like 46. So it's just like, and there's just like a bunch of different people coming in and out, and we're all locked in this house. And one of our roommates at the time, you know, they were like going through Facebook, you know, and it's just like, and by this time it was like April, you know, and that's like when the COVID-19 pandemic had like been like super surging around the US. We don't know what's going on. And our roommate had saw a post on Facebook that one of their friends, you know, was about to be kicked out. Like without any of our permission. They decided to move these I believe it was 2 sets of people.
It was it was one, but then there was another that was tagged on.
It was tied on.
Yeah.
You know, to move into our house without acknowledging any of us.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, okay. You know, and like how I was introduced to this was I was just like getting ready to work, going to work. You know, I worked really early in the morning, so it's just like I would leave the house, you know, roughly around, you know, 4:30, and here I am about to leave, and here's one of these characters holding a huge butcher knife in the kitchen.
What
you
the-
know,
What?
right in my direction, and they're like, "This is not how it looks," and I'm like, "Dude, it's like 4:30 in the morning," you know, like. And it's just like, here's the person I don't know holding a butcher knife right in my face.
Okay, that part of the story I did not know.
Yeah, this is like how I was introduced to them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then they explained the whole situation to me. It's just like, hey, we're staying, you know, with one of our roommates, you know. It's just like, I'm just here making some breakfast. Sorry, like, you know, I'm holding a butcher knife just like staring at you, like dead set, and I'm like, dude, it's like 4:30 in the morning. It's just like I was kind of prepared because I knew the fridge door opened out that way, so if she was going to like attack me, I knew I could open the fridge and she'd like, you know, get like clotheslined at the fridge.
I love that you're already like having a plan of like defense.
Yeah, because you don't wake up like, you know, leave the house at 4 in the morning and it's just like, I gotta have a defense plan. You know, it's just like, especially like in my own home. And it was just like, oh, dude, I need a plan for this. And like,
Jeez.
I was like, oh man, the opportunity has finally arrived where this might actually work.
Jeez. Well, okay. That's how you get introduced to them. All right.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And it's just like, all right, I'll see you later, I guess, you know. And I left, and I didn't think anything of it. And then Josh, take it away where you were introduced to this.
So, it was me and Tusho. We were in the kitchen, making dinner or something like that. And in walks this character, just walks through the door, walks right between us, doesn't say anything, goes right to the bathroom, and we're just looking at it like, wait, who was that? And then we hear the shower going. We're like, what is going on? And then that's when the person who had invited them over came up and was like explaining the whole thing, and we were just looking at each other like, can we even do that? Because at that point, my head went to, I don't know if we can do that. I think that's a violation of the lease. So I walked back to my room, and I looked back at the lease. I was like, oh, yeah, we can't actually do that. But that's how I got introduced, was they just walked through the kitchen, didn't even say a word, and just took a shower. Like, didn't even introduce themselves. It was like, what are you even doing in my house? Like, no, get out. And then they explained it, and I just felt off about them. I didn't like their presence at all. I felt off about them the entire time. I felt like something was really strange was going on, and well, turns out I was right.
Oh yeah, because it's just like, you don't wake up at 4:30 in the morning and then all of a sudden, you know, there's someone in your kitchen, like holding a butcher knife. It's just like, and staring right at you.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, I'm the weird one. I'm like, I should be questioning you.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what the? And then, so we get introduced to this person, and all of a sudden there was like this meeting that was called, like this house meeting that was called. And at that meeting, we were kind of like taking a vote of like where we wanted them and stuff like that. And then right at that point, that's when the other situation started happening. So that situation started happening, and then we also had the previous one also ongoing. So turns out that this person was doing drugs on the property, which we specifically had told them not to. At that said meeting, I should preface this, Greg came up with some sort of
Wait, we can't say that. We can't say that.
Well, no, you came up with an idea that was shared with the group. You came up with an idea that was shared with the group, and then we kind of was like, well, that's kind of like the idea you want to go to, but basically we didn't want them in the house. We didn't want them on the property. And we eventually had to tell our landlord about it, and it was resolved. And basically, the entire scenario was it was so weird, so fucked up, and just there was so much information that was not shared. It was like, are we even like how can we live together if the other people are doing things behind other people's backs and not communicating well? And it just led to a big riff in what turned out to be the last half of our time there together. But that was a month in.
Yeah, that was like a month in. And I think, you know, what was like super crazy about that as well too is that you know, prior to, you know, waking up, you know, and walking to the kitchen to see someone with a butcher knife, is that ex-roommate had actually asked me to help them get a new mattress, you know, a few days before. And we had moved their old mattress into the garage. So, and like, it kind of like now, like me thinking about this, you know, it's just like, was that coincidental or was that, you know, methodically planned out? It was just such a strange situation.
Yeah, that was. That's
Scary.
weird.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was like planned because
Hmm.
we walked into like where they were staying and there was just like this mattress and like what the fuck is this mattress doing in here?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
well, Tusha and I did because we went. Tusha and I did. We walked into that. And we were like, why is there a mattress in here? And then yeah, after that, that's how we found out that they were staying here um, permanently. Well, not permanently. At the time, it seemed like they were staying here permanently. But no, it was one of those things that happens, and you don't understand it unless you've like experienced it. Like I don't know if we can fully put into words how crazy and fucked up this situation was. I I doubt we could.
I think we can't say it now, but I think we gave everybody kind of a good sense
Yeah.
of like, this is already strange.
Yeah.
It
This,
is already kind of odd.
yeah, it's odd enough that we can't say specific things, but because both these scenarios are tied in, we have to leave out a lot of detail that played into the first scenario that happened, and it's like,
Hmm.
well, dance around, and this is kind of what happened, and hope you understand. But no, it's that house. But even with the crazy scenarios that happened, there were some really amazing things that happened at that house, and one of which that always comes to mind and I'll remember it for the rest of my life was the dinner we did for July 4th.
Oh yeah.
That spread we had that was a fine spread. That
Yeah.
was what was it? It was a I don't actually remember all of it, but I have a picture of it somewhere. But that was such an awesome night because we were like, you know what? We're gonna go all out for Fourth of July. We're going to make all this food. We're gonna sit on the porch, and then there were even fireworks that popped up in the background, and it was such a cool night. It was just I don't know. It's one of the really really cool memories I have of that place, um, and we're always gonna remember it. The good, the bad, the weird, and the ugly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, what it really comes down to, just like looking at that whole scenario, the good of it was always like reconnecting and eating, a good meal like on the front
Yeah.
porch. And even
Yeah.
though it wasn't like your classic, Western type movie eating and like staring off into the sunset, it's just like it was still like a good evening,
I
nonetheless.
You just made me think of something, which is at the very beginning of this podcast, we were talking about like really looking back at the week and realizing what you did. And this is something that popped up. At the end of every week, whether it was a Friday night or Saturday night, you and I would go in the kitchen and we would make a meal. That is how we ended basically every single week. Like maybe there was a handful where you were gone for the weekend or we had other plans, but nine times out of 10, anybody
Yeah, I
who
think
walked by that house could find us on the porch eating food.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's really one of the best memories I have is that almost every single weekend, I ended up eating some of the best food of my life, and it turned out you were a quick learner in the kitchen.
Yeah, man, like that was a COVID-19 skill that I acquired. I couldn't even cook at the beginning of it. It's just like I would just have 12 cups of coffee and call it good.
Yeah,
But you're like,
and by the end,
you were like, dude, you can't live like that.
I,
I'm like, why not? It's just like I know caffeine is life, but you also need some substance. So I'd be like, so breakfast, and you're like, no, man, you need dinner.
yeah, and before I know it, I'm watching this man with a very very sharp knife just cutting that garlic, oh so thinly. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, dude, you've come a long way in 3 months. like,
Yeah, like
he's
I was
like,
like that, like so, like then it was like the movie Goodfellas,
yeah, that's
where
one
it's
of your
just
friends.
like
Yeah,
it was just so fine.
yeah.
That's the level I'm at now.
You were, I mean, and even just like on your own too. Like I saw how like you prepared stuff, you were making meals and stuff like that. That's one of the cool things we had in that house is we got to see each other like evolve over this period because we were forced to evolve over the period, and we all took it in strides. and yeah, it's such a great thing to look back on those nights, those memories in the kitchen, because to establish what it was like is a whole nother episode. I think we got to do an episode on how we did things in the kitchen and how we did food and kind of like a process of that, because that's some good content that we had. But we are approaching our the end of the podcast.
Absolutely.
We are. I'm looking over at the timer, and we've been live for about over 47 minutes. So, we thank you guys for tuning in. This was a great podcast to do. This was a last-minute decision, and it turned out to be the best. Just kind of getting a glimpse into just a basic conversation between Greg and I, and yeah, we thank you guys so much for hoping on. We guys hope you enjoyed the episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out.